He will not be the low post presence. He'll be out running, screening, and using this new offense. He's going to have to adjust to them, not the other way around.
Battier really quick on the tip, and Duke comes out with Williams gunning a three, and Gadzuric is fouled. Sanders over the back. Gadzuric's having a monster tournament through the 2 games. Wins over Hofstra and Utah State. He's the leading rebounder in the NCAA tournament through 2 games.
Here's that matchup. Duhan, Watson takes it to the hole.
Watson, beautiful move, and goes reverse for 2.
And here we see the UCLA press, which has been so effective, and it all started on their comeback against North Carolina. Oh!
Dunleavy takes a shot to the face.
He is down, and he is not in too good a shape. He really took a hit. We'll see it right here.
Right there.
Wow, did he get hit.
Right on the bridge of the nose.
We'll see Dunleavy going in. He gets hit twice. And he took a shot. Bobby Wilkinson in Philadelphia in '81 for Indiana. Out early in the ball game.
The game has just started here in Philadelphia. An opening basket by Watson. And for those of you who just joined us, Mike Dunleavy was just knocked to the floor on a drive to the basket. And some anxious moments for Duke as he is escorted to the Duke bench.
Look at how he's holding his shoulder. I thought he got hit in the chin, but he's walking in a very peculiar fashion.
Like
you
his
see
shoulder.
His dad is sitting right up behind him. It looks like it's a shoulder. No foul called on him? Or I guess they called a non-shooting foul.
Called a foul on Watson. And there's on the back Gadzuric. Earlier tonight in Philadelphia, the USC Trojans held on to beat Kentucky. What a performance by SC, leading by as many as 21 early in the second half. Twice they saw their lead trimmed to 1. Battier over the backboard, Bruin ball.
Duke 0 for 2 from 3. This is a critical part of the game for them. 40% of their offense comes from the 3-point line. And so far they've missed 2. Duhan has come into the lineup. He takes that pressure off Jason Williams, really guarding the point guard.
Good pass. Duke read it. Back door, and they steal it away. Corner, Nate James blocked by Watson.
Watson, a terrific competitor.
Here's how Dunleavy was injured.
You see him get hit on the chin right here. Hit him right on the side of the head, but when he went down, it was his shoulder that seemed to bother him more than his chin. And Duke without a long bench, now even shorter. Nice switching by Gadzuric, who is extremely quick for a man his size. Fastest man on the team.
James 0 for 3.
0 for 3 now from 3.
Gadzuric pulls it down with 2 hands. Up ahead. Tough pass. Got there. Knight. Rejected.
Here's where Williams is so tough in the open court. You've got to stop his dribble early.
Back out Battier. Second time from this spot. Missed them both. And this time Watson has it knocked out. Got a little hit to his face. No call.
What happened there? Williams went after Watson as a payback for the Dunleavy.
I think
that's
you're right.
Exactly what that was all about.
And Watson knew it too. He looked back at him.
Well, Watson's
Scornful
not going
look.
to back down. Neither will either of these competitors.
Duke is 0 for 5. All threes. Barnes too strong, and Casey Sanders goes high for that rebound.
For UCLA, you want to jump out and start making some of these shots, particularly with Dunleavy out of there. Boozer going to come into the game, Jim.
Williams misfiring. Rebound. Capono. Duke 0 for 6. All behind the arc. Up ahead. Tough pass. Gadzuric can't lay it in.
Gadzuric, as I said, tremendous speed.
Williams. Gadzuric. There's that speed again. He got back down the floor.
Jim, he's 6'10" or 11. Here comes Boozer into the game. Sanders out. But he only has size 13 shoot. And he is extremely quick for a man his size.
I was going to say Boozer back on the floor for the first time since February the 27th. The Maryland game, he missed Duke's last 6.
That was a game that Duke lost, the last game that they've lost, as a matter of fact, this year. Boozer down the low post with Gadzuric.
Williams at last. Duke hits from the outside. Their first points took almost 2.5 minutes.
You know, watching Boozer run in practice yesterday, it didn't look like he was having any problem at all. Now, you got to figure he doesn't have the stamina he had, but he was certainly not gimpy at all.
Barnes leans in.
James with a big rebound.
And a reach in called on Knight. UCLA's had some close range looks, not getting him to drop. Coach Krzyzewski, he picked up his 600th all-time win. That's Ed Army and Duke in the ACC championship blowout victory over North Carolina.
Well, if you're the coach at Duke, there's no time you'd rather have a win than against Carolina for your 600.
Gadzuric with the block.
That was like Lute Olson got his against Stanford in a win.
Yeah, couldn't pick a better opponent to do it against, right?
Boy, James everywhere.
Barnes and Boozer comes in and just swipes it away.
Boy, there's a mental toughness on this Duke team. Mike Krzyzewski all year long got his guys to play a lot of minutes and to be physically tough.
Inside, Boozer is back. He makes a steal at one end, scores at the other.
This really helps Duke in this regard. Gadzuric cannot afford now to kind of play a one-man zone in there because Boozer will be able to score, unlike Sanders.
Knight. And that one rolls off the rim.
Boozer with another rebound. Let's see how long he can go up and down the court, Jim.
Battier.
Tough shot.
And Barnes clears for the Bruins.
The pace of this game, UCLA wants to play this pace, as does Duke. So we heard at the top of the show Steve Lavin talking about the half-court sets. But it looks like his team wants to push it. Great shooter in Capono.
Capono too tall for Barnes. And we have the under-16 timeout. Duke was cold early, but now 5 unanswered for the first edge on the first break.
Jim, Michael Dunleavy is back on the sidelines. He's moving his arm back and forth, but it looks like he's all right. I think he was really stunned, and it looks like he's going to be able to come back in this game.
Inside Capono on the back of Boozer. Let's go over to Bonnie.
Well, Jim, Dunleavy's still shoulder hurting a bit. He suffered a pinched nerve between his neck and his right shoulder. They put some icy hot on it. Trainers massaged him a little bit, so he should be back in.
Thank you.
Battier looking for his first shot of the night. That's 0 for 4 for Shane. And Boozer doing a nice job with his presence inside, changing the complexion of that Duke defense. Capono not able to get on the switches. He's got to get on a smaller man on the switch to get his jump shot off. He's got Williams with him now.
Bruins have not scored the last 8 trips.
There's that 1-4 set. Gadzuric sitting down inside.
Knight in the middle and a reach in. Boozer forced it.
Nice decision by James not to go long. Watson did a good job getting back.
Battier.
He's not shy, is he?
First basket to drop for the night.
You know, Duke has played on this arena before. They played Temple here this year. Beat them 93-68. In that game, they were 17 for 30 of 3.
Red hot from 3
right,
that
so
night.
It's not like they're not used to it.
It was their second time they played Temple in just a 2-week stretch. They played them in the NIT final. 2-point win and then blew them out here in Philly. Capono loses control.
That was Battier again with those quick hands inside.
Capono from 3. Tipped out, kept alive by the Bruins. Knight.
UCLA getting out of their offense completely here. Earl Watson's going to have to call for the ball to get it back and to set up in their 1-4.
That's 10 straight trips without scoring. James, and it's going against James. Get an interactive tournament experience with fan polls, in-game features, audio clips, and video highlights, all at the internet's home of college basketball, cbs.sportsline.com. Dunleavy is back on the floor.
And he looked okay sitting back over there. He just took a shot, and I think it just staggered him a little bit. Kind of like a boxer who gets that delayed reaction to the punch. Nice move. Oh, and Watson lost the handle.
Ray Young is in for the Bruins. Williams finds James for the lay-in. That's a 10-point Duke run. Capono shakes off James. And that's Duke ball.
That's 2 good looks for Capono so far in his jumper. The guy is a great shooter, the best percentage shooter from 3 ever at UCLA. And there's a nice pass to James.
The ball is stuck on top of the goal, on top of the backboard. We need Jeff Trepagnier of USC back out here.
And look at Battier, the academician that he is, says, hell, let me just have the broom and I'll do a little bit of everything.
We'll give him do you give him a rebound in the stats for that?
Well, there's not many awards that young man hasn't had, so we'll give him the sweeper of the year in addition, huh?
Yeah.
Bad pass. Jason Williams got up in the air.
Pull up 3, Capono. He's cold early. Duhan up high for the rebound.
With these long rebounds, Duke is soon going to be able to start getting on the run.
Ball stripped away by Barnes, but right back comes Battier and a whistle.
Very smart play by Battier. Realized he didn't have a good look or a good shot, but he drew the foul on it. There he is. Shane Battier, as cool a kid that's ever played college basketball.
Capono has collected now a 2nd foul. 6 minutes, 41 seconds into the game. Battier at the line for 2. 10th player in Duke history to have his jersey retired.
MVP of the ACC tournament. There we see the 2 on the same team. And as I said, we've got to go back to UCLA with Bill Walton and Keith Wilkes before we had one. And Henry Bibby and Walton were first-team All-Americans on the same team.
A 12-0 run for the Blue Devils.
You see, Duke is not playing Barnes at all. They're letting him handle the ball outside, taking a shot which he doesn't want.
Ray Young has come in off the bench and he delivers. That was the first make after 10 misses in a row by the Bruins. 7 minutes and 40 seconds without scoring before that hit by Young.
Jim Young, a very unusual player. He can get hot or he can get very cold. We had in the North Carolina game, did not score a point in that game. Here's that high screen and roll that Duke loves to use for Jason Williams. He's got a big man on him.
Williams over Gadzuric. And Bruins want to run with this. Gadzuric down the floor. Here's Young. Lob Gadzuric. That's what Watson did last year against Maryland in the tournament.
Well, there was a case where Sanders went over to cover a man that's not going to take an outside shot in Young and put himself out of position to be where he was supposed to be to stop the lob.
Those lobs led to 16 assists when they blew out the Terrapins last year. No turnovers. It was some line that Watson had. Battier misfiring on the 3. Gadzuric may have got away with one.
He sure did. Push Sanders right out of the way. Sanders is now a guy that's going to the weight room 4 days a week. They figure he can't mess up his shot anyway, and it is helping to bulk him up some.
It's Wojo, Steve Wojciechowski, the assistant, who's taking him in there as opposed to the 2 days a week they had earlier. Now 4 days, and he can tell he's certainly developing.
There's Sanders with his great speed. He and Gadzuric could be 2 of the fastest big men in college basketball.
Gadzuric, that was wild. Dunleavy holds on to it.
Duke is going to have to get Jason Williams started.
Capono, good steal.
2 turnovers by Williams so far.
Barnes, and this time Dunleavy reaches in.
That was a pretty good block on his part. Barnes has got great speed. Dunleavy caught him. Look at Dunleavy here. 6'8" or 9", long arms himself. Nice clean play. Went after the ball.
This is a kid who's just a sophomore, talking about Dunleavy, and now Barnes goes to the line. He had a big game. We saw it, Billy, on CBS. Stanford at Pauley Pavilion, 32 points. It was the most by a Bruin in a game since Chris Johnson back in '98 had 33. Boozer is back, so he's working his way into the rotation here rather quickly. James also.
Well, I go back to that North Carolina game where UCLA was down 18, came out in the second half with full court pressure. He had 18 points and 10 rebounds in that one, and I really think more than anybody on this team, Barnes is the guy that makes him go in that press.
So we go to another break. And UCLA has scored the last 6. Devils by 4. Looking at some of the early numbers, Duke has already fired up 10 more threes.
Wow, neither team doing much from the field goal standpoint. Full court pressure.
Dunleavy hanging back, snaps it to the middle. Battier easily broken. Textbook. James inside. He traveled. For those of you expecting to see the Cincinnati-Stanford game out west, that tip time is coming up here just a few minutes away. We'll get you there for the start.
Then with Cummings in, get Zurich out, just giving him a little bit of a blow. Jason Williams sitting down early. And again, look at Battier not playing Barnes at all. Kind of playing a one-man zone down inside, letting Barnes be the handler. There's the lob.
And the lob this time. Yeah, we mentioned how he didn't have a single turnover in the tournament game last year against Maryland.
Yep.
Those lob after lob.
Well, the difference there is that Battier is a guy that understands the game a little bit, so he wasn't at all moved aside when Barnes faked up and went back. Good rotation defensively by UCLA right now. Nice matchups by UCLA. Tough defense.
Trying to trap Battier. He stepped on the line. They forced it. Watson and Barnes.
Great half-court defensive play by UCLA. This is a team that in John Wooden's first national championship, 64.
First team they beat in the championship.
That's right. The opponent, Duke University. The great run that they had, 16-0 run to win that one, 98-83.
Billy Knight 3. Battier out-battles the freshman T.J. Cummings for the rebound.
Here's the matchup zone by UCLA, causing some real problems for Duke. They can't get many good looks here.
Blue Devils in the white uniforms had a 12-point run early in this game. The last 6 scored by the Bruins. And this will be Duke ball. Ray Young can't believe it. He says Dunleavy touched it last. Jason Williams comes back in, the All-America.
And that was a good cross-court pass that time against the matchup defense. But an errant pass.
And a Duke turnover.
Jason Williams having a hard time penetrating down inside against this matchup zone that UCLA is playing against.
Duke has turned it over 6 times here at the start.
Great man-to-man by Duke. Matchup zone by UCLA.
Duhan just got hit in the face by Watson.
Mike Krzyzewski being a little calm over there, but he's ready to start hammering these officials. He works officials as good as any coach in the business, and he wanted a foul called on that play.
No foul called. Zurich is back.
Good overplay by Duhan, trying to keep the ball out of Watson's hands. He does it again.
Not a fresh 35 for the Bruins. Well, Knight will go ahead and launch it. It spins in and out. Boozer from the floor to Dunleavy.
Well, if there's anything wrong with that leg, and that foot, he's not showing it tonight, is he?
Not at all. He's had blocks. He's scored from the inside, 3 rebounds. And Williams falls to the floor, going to the line after the foul call on Zurich.
I think it's a very smart play by Williams, Jim. He realizes that he's not going to get any screen and rolls on the outside, so now he's putting on the ball on the floor and taking it to the basket.
2 All-Americas, Williams and Battier, in the tournament. Well, Williams, 26.5. He didn't have to play very long against Monmouth. He then scored 31 in the game against Missouri. His career high. Capono back on the floor.
And Steve Lavin trying to get somebody to bury an outside shot. UCLA has actually had better looks than has Duke, but Capono, who is normally a great three-point shooter, hadn't been able to find the range yet, or Knight.
The foul on Cummings was his first.
And this has been a key move by Mike Krzyzewski here. Duhan on Watson, saving Williams, who's playing young, who's not the offensive threat.
Freshman with a senior guarding him. Senior happens to be a 2-time National Defender of the Year. Maybe on his way to a 3rd. Zurich.
Terrific job by Boozer defensively. Boy, give that guy a lot of credit. A big man who has to sit down that long, coming and playing this way.
Williams, Dunleavy spun free, three-pointer. Tipped out by Cummings to Capono.
Knocked it right out of Boozer's hands. Battier did a good job getting back, stopping Gadzuric.
Watson, tough shot. And there's Battier pulling it down.
This has been Brick City out here. I think it's good defense rather than bad offense. Another good play defensively.
Now they call a foul. Looked like a clean block, but it's going against Young. Duke is 4 for 17 from the field.
And Jim, in the lead. I mean, you know, the kind of thing that their defense has been keeping them in this game. Duhan goes inside, I think a really good move. I thought that was a good clean block by Gadzuric. Stays down, good block.
First foul on Young. Duhan at the line for 2. The ACC Rookie of the Year, the first to ever receive that under the watchful eye of Krzyzewski.
Isn't that amazing?
That is hard to believe.
When you think of all the great recruits. Of course, Bobby Crimmins controlled the ACC Rookie of the Year when he was coaching at Georgia Tech.
Like almost every year, we see some subs come in. Ryan Bailey for UCLA, number 21, and Reggie Love, the freshman football player for the Blue Devils, number 42.
Love has been getting more and more playing time, again, since that Maryland game.
So here's Ryan Bailey.
Love is going to be on Gadzuric, giving up a lot of size. Bailey ought to recognize that and throw some lobs in there.
Bailey penetrates right away, and it's knocked out.
Now you have 2 point guards in the game for UCLA, Jim. Bailey and Watson. Gadzuric's being guarded by a man that's given up 5 inches.
Capono got a 3. That gives him 83 on the season. That's a new Bruin single season mark, breaking his own record. That's off Gadzuric.
Boy, Gadzuric can really run. He got back down 4 beautifully that way to stop that Love pass.
Defense has dominated early, and Duke leads it by 4.
Third meeting ever between UCLA coach Steve Lavin and Duke's Mike Krzyzewski, but the relationship actually stems back about 15 years when Lavin, as a college sophomore, started writing to Coach K about getting into coaching. And Lavin actually almost got a job at Duke, but now Missouri coach Quinn Snyder got the assistant job. But Lavin said, hey, I'm the head coach at UCLA. Don't you think it worked out?
Well, I tell you, Lavin really worked hard on it as a young man. Gene Cady, there were other people that really touched his career, and of course got this Bruin head coaching job at a very early age. In his 4th Sweet 16, and his Bruins have a steal with Bailey. Battier closed it in, great pass. He felt the presence of Battier.
He should have laid that one up, though, Jim. I think that he could have had the shot. And here's Williams, who's now limping. He's had ankle problems all along. He tries to make the move on Watson. It doesn't get by. See, I think he should have laid this ball up. Battier is a great shot blocker and really gets back and hustles on defense. But we are seeing Jason Williams having no chance whatsoever to get by Watson. And he is he's stretching out that ankle.
Yeah, he definitely is feeling a little pain. First foul on Love, and Capono will shoot another here.
Well, we talked about Luthenthal tonight in regard to making free throws. Capono had 28 straight at one time this year.
They could shoot him in that conference. It's Ryan Mendez, not to be overlooked, from Stanford.
There's the switch. Gadzuric. Can he handle Jason Williams?
Dunleavy, top of the key, 3.
Nothing there. Duke really off.
But they've had some real open looks like that one right there. 2 out of 13 from 3.
There's Battier again, laying off Barnes until he comes in the paint.
Tough pass. Gadzuric couldn't handle it.
Either one of these teams being very efficient offensively.
Williams. His second made field goal. He's 2 for 6 from the field.
There's that rule of hit the next open free man because he will have the better look for the 3 and be in a better position to rebound.
Foul on Watson.
Great reach in by Duhan. Watson tried to hold him off.
That's his second.
And we talked about that great run that UCLA had back in '64 against Duke. Duke trying to get one of their patented runs themselves. Good play by Duhan, good official call. Look at his eyes, looking right on in at the target, which was that ball. Excellent defensive play by the freshman.
It'll be a 1-and-1 for the freshman from Slidell, Louisiana. Outside of New Orleans across Lake Pontchartrain. And tipped up by Battier, kept it alive, but now it goes out.
Duhan's big game, 20 against Virginia with 35, and he played 35 minutes in that one. So shows that he will in time be a major scorer there.
His big moment, though, was against Wake Forest. You were there, Billy.
Oh, yeah.
Game winner at the buzzer.
See Dunleavy right out on Capono, letting him put it on the floor. Good fake.
Capono, that one rattled out somehow. Capono thought he had drained that one to the corner. There's the open man. And Duhan unable to get it.
Duke having all kinds of problems with their open looks. And that is their game. They're going to take those threes. Look for the long rebounds.
Set the all-time NCAA record for three-point field goals made in a season. Slashing, Barnes back out. Capono has to give it back up on the line.
That's great recovery defense that time by Dunleavy.
CBS Sports coverage of the entire NCAA basketball tournament is interactive through Ultimate TV.
Jim, when you take a look at these two programs, Duke is #1 in percentage winning in the NCAA tournament at 75-3. UCLA #2 at 73-6. A tremendous tradition in the tournament between these two schools.
But they only have played twice in the tournament in their history. Battier 3 hits the roll. You mentioned the '64 championship, Coach Wooden's first of 10. And then they met again in the tournament in 1990 in this region, in the East Regional semifinal. Won by Duke. Gadzuric and one. Boozer commits it.
That was a perfect pass because Boozer anticipated the lob, just couldn't get back there in time. And Jim, when you look at Duke's run in '92 for the national championship, there you see a good job by Gadzuric. Just a little touch at the end, but a good job offensively on the pass.
You're going to talk deja vu?
They had that run, Greensboro, Philadelphia, Minneapolis.
It's incredible, but there won't be, if they get past this game, a Kentucky waiting for them in the regional final like '92. Eliminated tonight by USC. 80-76 winners over the Wildcats.
I think that the ball, Jason Williams saying the ball is too slippery, asked the official just to stop action for a second. No timeout will be called here.
It is amazing to think that it is the same exact travel schedule, same routing, same road to the Final Four, maybe the championship, as that last championship by the Devils of Greensboro, the first two rounds, the regional in Philly, Final Four Minneapolis. James steps back. That's way off the mark.
He was not ready to shoot that ball because Capono rushed right at him and it slipped out of his hands. Duke trying to make plays that aren't there right now, making this game much more difficult than it needs to be. UCLA running their offense, they just can't get the shots.
UCLA is only 5 of 22 from the field. And Gadzuric, basket interference. They'll take it away.
And that ball would have been in. Capono is such a great shooter and has such a soft touch. You've got to give it a chance if you're his teammate. Watch how this ball will die on the rim. He is a great shooter, no question about the goaltender.
That one might have been outside, though. I don't know. You think that would have dropped, huh?
Oh, yeah. And if not, he's such a soft shooter. Go up and get a two-handed rebound.
Williams with a player in his face. Barnes skies for that rebound. Under 4.5 to play, first half.
Nice hesitation by Barnes. He gets fouled.
Just dreadful shooting here. Barnes took a little hit, came down on the Duke player. That's his second on Boozer. Tuesday on CBS, a barroom murder investigation turns into a deadly trap. Don't miss an hour of surprising twists and turns on an all-new Jag. Tuesday, right here on CBS. So Barnes to the line for a pair. Again, that's the second on Boozer. There's a player at the line, Billy, that was so disenchanted with his playing time that he contemplated foregoing basketball at one point and trying out for the football team as a wide receiver. He's a record-setting tight end at Citrus Heights Del Campo High School.
Well, lucky for Steve Lavin, that wasn't his decision because he has really been the program turner here along with Earl Watson.
That was a year ago, and he's had a good season, averaging 12.7 rebounds a game.
You notice how UCLA has not given Duke any opportunity to get off to quick starts or any fast break opportunities. Nothing there.
Duhan, was that a pass all the way?
No, that was a shot that came up short. But Dunleavy is a very good offensive rebounder.
So far wide of the basket, you almost could buy into it. Young.
Not a good outside shooter.
Backing up when he shot that one, fading.
Williams open on the side.
And a push, Capono. It's going to be his third. Capono's third.
Jim, what happened in that open court? Duhan did a great job because here's that pass we see. He got fouled on the shot, and no question it was a shot. No foul call, but it made a perfect lob pass to Dunleavy. Capono's going to have to sit down, and that really hurts UCLA. He's having a hard enough time shooting from the outside. First team all-conference player.
That still looked like a good pass.
Well, the foul created the pass.
Duhan, one more.
It is hard to believe that in this pace of a game, UCLA would be sitting there with 15 points. I really like the way this young man has fit into his team this year. As a freshman with great promise, probably the top guard coming out of high school last year as far as all-around ability is concerned. Going to school that already had a point guard like Jason Williams and fitting in nicely.
His assist-to-turnover ratio, Duhan, we're talking about at the other end, sensational, 3-1.
Barnes is going to have to make himself more difficult to guard because Battier's playing a one-man zone.
Now that is unstoppable.
That really is.
Gad Zurich with the hook.
Boozer, no threat there.
Williams, cut off, goes corner. Dunleavy three, rattles out. And the Bruins fight for it. Barnes eventually backs off his teammate.
That's the Duke offense. Penetrate and kick out. Dunleavy would normally hit that shot. Knight, a good shooter, hasn't been looking to take his shot.
Barnes squeezes it back out. Young, you can't get any more open than that.
But there's what Duke wants. They want the wrong guy taking the outside shot.
This is maybe the right guy. No, Watts in front of the rim.
Williams tough to stop here.
Watson followed up by Battier.
That's exactly the way Duke likes to play. You get Williams out in the open court, everybody else running. That's their game.
I thought Watson had defended it off of Williams, but there was Battier.
Well, Watson went for the spectacular block.
Watson, and that's a block.
Battier, who is going to follow this play. Williams comes down. Now, what Watson had to do is to go ahead and just play solid. He doesn't play solid, allows Battier to come down and follow it up. There was a man on Williams. You see how Watson came over, Jim, to try to make this spectacular block. He has to be there to block out the trailing player for Duke.
Watson at the line for two.
Jim, how about the way that this young man, during the trying times for UCLA, when there was all the talk about Rick Pitino behind the scenes at UCLA, and Watson not only stood up for his coach, but for the program in general, showed great character there. Even attacked the administration for a time.
Going to be a
classy kid.
Yeah, no question. We had a nice visit with him out at Pauley a couple of weeks back before the Stanford game, and how he has developed his personality, his leadership. Been a great college player. 4 years at UCLA. We'll be right back. We will say goodbye to a senior that we've enjoyed watching and following for 4 years tonight. Will it be Shane Battier of Duke or Earl Watson of UCLA? One of them will see their college career end tonight here in Philadelphia.
Well, Jim, I think both of these coaches and teams would say we played the first half to get to the second, because I don't think we've seen the best of either club so far in this game.
Dunleavy, real open look.
Boy, they're getting them. Good job by Sanders.
And no basket. Before the shot, Cummings fell on him. Coming up singular at the half with Greg and Clark. Update on all the tournament news from tonight. And a look in at Cincinnati-Stanford coming up on singular at the half. That'll send Sanders to the line.
Jim, back in 1988, and we think about all these coaching changes that are taking place and all the headlines about big shifts, Back in '88 at the Final Four, UCLA, looking for a coach, really pursued Mike Krzyzewski. Mike turned him down. Then it was Jimmy Valvano.
Remember it? Yep.
Remember that? He left the Final Four and went out there in Kansas City, the year that Kansas won it. Valvano went out there, and Pete Dallas and crew decided not on Valvano, and it kept going down until Jim Herrick finally became the guy that became the coach.
Herrick brought in Lavin as an assistant. And Lavin now completing his 5th full season.
Kapono back out on the court right now. Dangerous thing with those fouls.
Gadzuric too strong. Knight keeps it alive. Slashing and drawing the foul.
Good offensive rebounding by Gadzuric to keep things alive. Knight in there, a smaller man, out rebounded Sanders and Battier.
So Sanders commits his 2nd. And Knight gave this team a big boost when he moved into the starting lineup around the 1st of February. 11-2 as a starter.
You know, he actually started, Jim, at the beginning of the year. He was a starter the first game of the year. The first 10 games in almost a starting type role, he averaged 3.3 points a game. When he finally became a starter at the end of the season, he boosted himself up to a 12-point per game score.
Had a stretch of 4 Saturdays in a row in Pac-10 play where he averaged about 20 a game. He was
22 at Stanford in that huge win.
Really the man. So he hits 1 of 2. 1:30 to go in the half, and Duke leads by 7.
Again, penetration and kickouts. That's the story of Duke's offense. Nice man-to-man here by UCLA. Good aggressive defense.
6 on the shot clock. Battier. Banks it home. Tough shot.
What a shot.
12 for Battier.
He had 2 UCLA men on him and the clock working against him.
Kapono on the floor this last minute with 3 fouls.
Yeah, I wonder about that one.
Gadzuric, too strong again, and Cummings pushed off.
I saw his dad here earlier tonight, Terry Cummings, who had some great games against UCLA in his lifetime as a college player at DePaul.
And that's the 3rd on Cummings.
Again, we have Barnes over in the sideline, and I'm really surprised with 51 seconds if you take a chance with Kapono out there picking up a cheap 4th foul.
2 shots for Battier. We mentioned all of the awards. He's already won by 6 different sources National Player of the Year. And even better, as you look at some of his career numbers, he's most proud of that last one, charges taken. Even better, again, 1st team Verizon Academic All-America for the 2nd year in a row. Duke has its largest lead. It's 11 with 50 seconds to play in the half.
Back screen by Watson doesn't work for Barnes. A lot of good talking out there by the Duke defensive players.
Knight, 3-pointer, big one. Cut it back down to 8.
Looking for Williams to drive the ball at the court. Nice long pass.
Dunleavy to Sanders. Misses the dunk. Kapono.
Oh, beautiful pass.
Watch out, there's the 4th.
There it is, Jim. Now, is it worth having a man on the floor to get a shot as opposed to picking up the 4th foul? I don't think so. Who would have expected him to get caught in this kind of situation, but I don't think he can take that chance.
Just got absolutely exposed. No one else down there for the Bruins, and Kapono reaches in. He will be replaced by Ray Young after the first free throw.
Jim Kapono in the first game against Hofstra, only 2 for 8 at 7 points, 3 rebounds. But he's going to sit down now. I think that was a calculated mistake on the part of Coach Lavin to have him on the floor.
A miscalculation.
Miscalculation.
The leading scorer for the Bruins, 1st team All Pac-10, picks up a 4th foul in the final seconds of the half. Where do you see that kind of 2-man game? Remind you of anything?
Well, you know, there's a guy by the name of John Stockton that's not bad at doing that with a fellow with, I think his name's Malone, huh? They've made it into a history science course. Oh, Sanders gets the roll.
You're talking an awful lot about the NBA these days,
hey,
you know? I mean, you're out there promoting that league. Watson in the final 18 seconds of the half.
That was a setup you gave him.
Try to be an assist man, Stockton Light.
Sanders back in there on Barnes. You can see whoever has Barnes, and here's a nice step out.
Watson, 5 seconds in the half.
He likes the shot.
Good look, got it. And again, Knight with a couple of big threes in the final minute and a half.
Duke calculated gamble to go ahead and switch out and double up Watson. He was able to find the best shooter they had on the floor. You'd love to start the second half with Capono on the floor.
Billy Knight, give him some credit, hit 2 threes in the last 37 seconds of that half. And here he is on the inside. He has scored the Bruins' last 9 points.
Well, Williams made the good play and then ran away from the loose ball. Here's the pressure. Great split.
Williams pulled up and buries the 3.
Now there's where you have really got to put a body on Williams. You try to double team him and give him room to make the split. All of a sudden then he has big numbers going in the other direction. Look at they're not guarding Barnes at all.
You said at halftime you didn't believe it. Either team really had controlled the first half.
No, they didn't. I didn't really see any semblance where a team said, you know, we're really in sync here.
Young splits and loses control on the drive.
Good job by Knight to get back there and cut off Jason Williams.
Duhan penetrate, kick out. There it is. Williams unable to hit a second straight.
And there's where Sanders not quite strong enough to make the big catch.
Billy Knight hanging out in the corner, baseliner, in and out, and Barnes crashes. Rebound will be on Duke.
Barnes, a terrific crasher, slashes in there for the rebound. Here we see Williams with 11 points, and those coming here with that big 3 he just hit, but not having his kind of game. Watson was wide open inside.
Tough pass. Duhan has it. Up ahead. Williams followed up by Dunleavy, who had just committed his second foul at the other end, but in the right spot that time.
How often have we seen tonight, Jim, guys being the trailing player making plays? Duhan trying to make another strip. Barnes has got to get down in low so that Battier can't guard 2 men at a time. UCLA without Capono has 2 poor shooters from the outside on the floor.
Yeah, they miss his scoring threat out there.
Yeah.
There's just not enough guys that can scare you.
Steps.
Barnes got away with it. Followed up. Jab Zurich tipped out. Duke with a 10-point lead quickly here, 2 minutes into the half. Dunleavy can make it 13 and in and out.
Sanders knocked to the floor, goes down with a little acting job. Mike Krzyzewski didn't like it.
Tough pass. Zurich was called for traveling.
Well, what we are seeing is a game that does not have a good offensive flow to it, but you're seeing some tremendous hustle, particularly by the big guys who have speed. That time it was Battier. Dunleavy's wide open.
How do they get away with that? Dunleavy lays it in. Duke has its largest lead of the night.
Again, Battier recognizing what's available. Such a smart player.
Bruins have turned it over the last 3 possessions. Watson. Zurich keeps it alive. No whistle.
That was Dunleavy that got the block from behind. We talk about him coming to school as a 2 guard and now being a guy that actually plays inside a great deal. Watch Dunleavy down here. Battier sees him, throws long. UCLA has nobody back, Capono, and now we see what Steve Lavin is forced to do, Jim.
Capono comes back in before this game gets out of control.
Well, you might as well take the chance because Steve Lavin sees a run coming from Duke, so he's going to bring him back and take the chance.
And a reach-in foul against Dunleavy.
This is really a calculated move, and I think a good one by Steve Lavin as opposed to what happened before the half. You're down 12. You can see Duke getting a run here and getting in the flow. You've got to come back and just take a chance he can stay in the game. Now, if you're Duke, you've got to go at him, Jim, and make him guard somebody to try to pick up that 5th foul.
Capono's 5th point of the night. He has over 1,000 in his 2-year career with the Bruins. James in for Duke. When you think about some of the players in this storied program who have garnered over 1,000 points in 2 years, there are only 5. Capono's one of the 5 with McLean, Murray, Alcindor, and Walton. But dangerous territory for Capono with 4 fouls this early.
Well, let's see. He's matched up. He's matched up over here with James. James ought to take him to the basket. got a chance. You don't want to waste a lot of time.
Capono makes the steal. Vanier will not be able to get there in time. So Capono comes right in with 4 quick points.
Duhan really telegraphed that cross-court pass, and another steal almost, and it is off Jason Williams' leg.
Duke turnover. 12-point lead down to 8, and UCLA possession. Billy, here's a theory for you. Duke may have to win the Pac-10 championship to win the national championship. UCLA tonight, if they win here, USC will be in the regional final. Then maybe at the Final Four if Stanford advances out west, and then possibly Arizona in the championship game. 4 in a row.
Well, they're 9-1 as we speak right now in the NCAA tournament play, which is a tremendous record. Indicative of the outstanding year that those teams have had. As you said, only Cal went out in the first round.
Watson got it.
Nice pull up.
Down to 6. They cut the lead in half of 12.
And again, take this matchup. James with Capono. And if you're Duke University, you want to clear out and make Capono have to guard him.
You saw the USC final. If you just joined us, they led by 21 in the opening seconds of the second half. It was trimmed to 1 on 2 occasions, and the Trojans knock out the #2 seed in the East. Williams, long rebound right to Watson.
Capono out and running.
They look ahead. Knight is there. He traveled.
It was probably a pretty good idea by Watson. He had 2 guys out in the open, just couldn't get it to complete.
6-0 Bruin run, under 16 timeout. Jim Nance with Billy Packer, Bonnie Bernstein, East Regional semifinals, Sweet 16. This UCLA team won last week, pair of games. Hofstra, Utah State, had to go back home last Saturday night from Greensboro. Took finals on Monday, and they were back here cross country at 10:30 Monday night.
Taking some finals here in Philadelphia.
Yeah, they had to then resume the finals in a ballroom of their hotel.
Good pass on the inside. So far, UCLA has really done a fine job on Jason Williams. We've seen him in games that are played in the open court like this, where he just totally dominates. Tonight, he has not been able to do that.
It's the second personal on Ray Young.
You know, Jim, this kind of crept up on us, but Duke is the first team since the seeding has taken place ever.
About that.
The first team ever to be seeded #1, have a #1 seed 4 years in a row. Kentucky almost did it. 95, 96, 97, they had 3, but they were a #2 seed in 98. So Duke is the first team ever to do that. Nice fake by Battier.
Push off on Young is 3rd. Also, Duke in the final poll ended up #1, going into the tournament ranked #1 for the 3rd straight year. And that's only happened 1 other time. That was UCLA, 71, 2, and 3. And a guy that was on that team, they could possibly see on Saturday.
That's right. Henry Bibby. Pass to Boozer. Great strong catch on his part. There's the case. Williams drives on Capono. Good move. Capono can't do anything, and Boozer stays outside instead of coming to the basket. He'd have had a layup.
And Ryan Bailey with the good hands and anticipation.
That was a good play by Capono, not to try to make any kind of move defensively on Williams.
Watson got it down to 3.
Great comeback by UCLA. And a nice move by Lavin to come back with Capono.
Duke had its largest lead of the game, 12 early in this second half. And a foul called on Earl Watson of the Bruins, but back has come UCLA, and they have trimmed that 12-point lead down to 3. A 9-0 spurt here for the Bruins.
That was a nice set by Duke University. That time they had Watson set up on Jason Williams with no help whatsoever. Lob to Boozer.
Chow Capono in this game has 4 fouls. And Watson just picked up his 3rd for UCLA. And Jason Williams buries the 3.
There's that extra pass, Jim, that sets up everything. You set up the pass, you get the extra pass, the guy gets a good look, and everybody's in position to rebound.
Devils' first field goal in over 3 minutes. Capono had 4 fouls in the first half. And now he draws one here on Duke, on Duhan.
Well, Capono is not the best defender in the world, And as long as he'll move his feet and keep his hands away from trying to reach in, he has a chance to stay in this game for many minutes. And that was quite a move by Lavin, realizing Duke was starting to get that open margin. They had it up to 12. They bring him back into the ball game, and things have really turned around.
At that very point where they reached their largest lead of 40-28, he came in, drew a foul, hit 2 free throws, followed it up with another basket on the next possession. So Capono seeing his best play of the night when he comes in with 4 fouls, gets 1 of 2.
Duke has not yet taken advantage, however, of the man that he's guarding.
Lob inside, Williams beats his man, Bailey to the hole.
Well, Bailey can't go up in the air like Williams. So you see Watson, who had been physically capable of doing that. Bailey is no challenge for Williams.
Battier is guarding Watson now. That's 16 for Williams for the night. Timeout called by Watson. He was stuck. He had the nation's best defender on him. So the Bruins were 12 down. They cut it to 3, and now it's bumped up back to 7 for the Blue Devils.
In there with a chance to win. They just couldn't come over the top.
And Saul Smith, too, was gunning threes. Bogans had 21 points in the second half. They came back from 21 down to get within 1, but lost by 4. Gad Zurich. And there's Capono again, unable to go aggressively after it. Watson back outside. Young gets stuck. Just a wild attempt at the hole.
And there's where Young's inability to hit the short jumper. Look at Williams fly!
Well, I just saw an opening there, and he kicked it in the extra gear.
Jim, I was saying about Young, he does not want to take the jump shot, so he puts himself in precarious positions when he drives into traffic like that. There's the switch. Duhan on Capono, giving up a lot of size.
Capono over Boozer. Too strong. Boozer, for those who have just joined us, back after missing 6 games with a broken right foot. And Williams this time.
He called for that ball the entire time it was coming down the court. He felt it, he wanted it, he was in the corner and put it away. What a run.
Just like that. He has it back up to their largest lead, matching their largest lead of the night. 13 and a half. Well, Duke on a big run here, all fueled by that man, Jason Williams, the first-team All-America, leads an 8-0 attack. He has scored 13 of Duke's 17 in the second half.
Steve Lavin comes back with Billy Knight, something that he needed to do because Young just wasn't looking for his shot. Knight, of course, is the guy that brought back UCLA in the first half for those outside jumpers.
Hit 2 threes in the final 37 seconds of the first half. Talking about number 3, Billy Knight. Capono gets the 3 to go.
Doug Levy has to understand that at this point in the game, you've got to crowd that man, make him put the ball on the floor. If he drives to the basket, he's got problems because he's got 4 fouls on him. You can't let him take the jumper.
The All-America's accounting for 70% of the Duke scoring. Battier drives baseline, and Barnes pushed. No basket. Access live head-to-head team and player stats through this interactive telecast available on Ultimate TV. Battier in the first half led the Blue Devils to a 7-point halftime lead with 14 points and 8 rebounds. He has not scored in this half.
No call on the play. Good job by Battier. He got by with it in the first half, and now there is a call against Duke. Mike Krzyzewski is asking for the call.
Duhan's second. That's the 4th team foul. So twice Duke has run up the score to a 12-point margin, and Capono's tried to fire him back in it. That Zurich, just a bullet pass to Barnes, and it works out.
Now, what happened there is that Battier, who has been leaving Barnes to play that one-man zone, Barnes, instead of staying outside, went down under the basket where he could be a factor.
You can see why Barnes would be a good receiver, wide receiver in football. I mean, that had some zip on that one. Williams, he just calling for it. He's got the feeling.
Boy, he can break a game open either off the dribble or with that jump shot. A sensational backcourt player.
And when he gets it going like this, you just know he's going to make it.
See where Battier is? He's allowing Barnes just to stand out there.
Barnes, again, a shot put to the basket.
Oh, Watson will challenge Williams. Yes, he will.
Oh, and Watson will hit be hit with his fourth.
One of the things that you'll see that Williams taking his outside shot, Jim. He has unlimited range. He squares up so quickly. You notice how he turned that body to be squared up for that shot? Terrific job on his part. I knew that Watson was going to challenge Jason Williams on this play. Look at how he hangs up in the air. That was an incredible freshman backcourt with Baron Davis and Earl Watson. Both of them incredible leapers.
We saw them their freshman year in the NCAA tournament.
Well, there's a guy sitting over there, Michael Holton, who was part of a Final Four all-freshman backcourt, sitting right next to Steve Lavin. Played with Rod Foster back in the '80 Final Four against Louisville.
So Watson stays on the floor here, Billy.
No, he's going to sit down, looks like.
Yeah, let's see.
Yep. Oh, no, he's just going to talk to the coaches.
No one on, there's only 5 on the floor.
Well, Duhan better keep an eye on him.
So 2 Bruins on the floor with 4.
One of the things starting to build up now, Duke getting to that foul line where they've shot 281 more than their opponents.
Williams on track to set a new career high. He's got 26 already.
UCLA trailing Duke by 12, and this may be the last college game for Earl Watson, the Bruins senior guard that Steve Lavin calls an extension of myself on the floor. He said because of that, he takes as much of the blame in bad times and as much of the credit in good times as I do, and I've seen him grown from the homesick kid in Kansas City to the mayor of Westwood. Jim?
Yeah, he said, Lavin, it's going to be hard to say goodbye to him. Here's Watson on the feed from Barnes. It's like Linus with his security blanket. Watson playing his 129th straight game as a Bruin. All starts.
Pass McLean to set that record.
Stolen away by Barnes.
Williams made the commitment a little bit too early there. Barnes held his ground. That was some layup before that Watson made over Sanders, who's a good shot blocker. UCLA getting into their 1-4 set.
Capono's pass picked off. It's Williams on the floor, and Duke ball with the arrow.
No, called timeout, Jim, on that one.
Time?
Yeah, they did. Jason Williams called a timeout, so not to waste the arrow.
Williams has scored Duke's last 15. We'll be right back. While the East and West play tonight, the Midwest and South are in action tomorrow, Billy.
Well, Arizona, Ole Miss, Rod Barnes with a great coaching job. That team was picked to finish last in their division of the SEC and find themselves in the Sweet 16. Terrific job there. There's a turnover.
Duhan traveled. You know, we were talking to Coach K yesterday. He thought the defining kind of angle on the year in college basketball has been a year of great coaching. And he cited Al Skinner at Boston College, Barnes at Ole Miss, and Tubby Smith. There's Watson scoring again. He said that Tubby Smith, I admire him as much as anybody in college basketball. He's such a man of substance. Tubby Smith and the Cats going out tonight. And rebound to Capono.
Isn't it interesting? Good steal by Duhan. Isn't it interesting how just when you think Duke is ready to take over the game, then they either turn it over, give UCLA an opening to get back in this game. Oh, there's again the split by Williams.
Yes. 17 points in a row on the Duke side by Williams.
Great hustle.
Watson, long passes are either getting picked off or leading to a turnover.
We could have a track meet out here tonight between the big guys running. There's Williams with that split. Anytime you're going to double him up, you really better square up your body because he'll go ahead and split between the two. And then again, as he has the numbers for either the shot himself, Boozer or Battier couldn't quite get there.
And Barnes gets the soft roll. It's down to 8 again.
Battier was about an 1/8 of an inch away from having a steal and a layup. This is a tough matchup. Now, what's happened? Watson with 4 fouls. See, they can't use him to guard Williams. Wow, where is he throwing that one?
Again.
Even Trepagny couldn't have had that one.
That would have been maybe just out of his reach. Barnes and 1. Battier on the hack.
Good comeback by UCLA. This team does not want to give in. They're having to do a lot of things with players right now because of foul trouble, but doing a real nice job as to who they're guarding. Wonderful feed there by Watson.
That's the second on Battier, and this can trim it to 5. So give him a double-double with a make.
Every time you think Duke is ready to blow this thing open, UCLA really does a good job coming. A good push off by Capono. Gets the rebound and he's wide open. Good talking there, Dunleavy and Williams.
Watson, tough shot. Followed up, Zurich.
Can't get the handle.
James does, though, for Duke. Williams drives. Capono just has to back away.
Is he putting on a show? His career high is 34, which he had against BC and Durham. Another steal, and Dunleavy can go long if he can get a handle.
Watson was in dangerous turf there with 4 fouls, reaching in. And Barnes comes right back. What a wild game this has been. Capono, this is his shot. Oh! Barnes fighting for it. Watson on the floor. Can you believe this?
A scrum. And Dunleavy never realized that 3 Duke players were wide open at the other end.
Hold on a minute. Watson and Williams.
Well, you know where that started from, Jim? Remember the play at the very start of this game when Dunleavy got hit. And then later, Williams went after Watson a little bit, and they spoke. These are 2 great competitors. And a nice job by the official to keep them all in the game. Watson, the Kansas connection. Lucius Allen from Wyandotte, the great All-American for UCLA, was a player he realized went to UCLA and knew. Look at Battier down there saying, guys, give me a chance to get up.
Look at Barnes, a little shove to Williams. When you're talking about Lucius Allen, he was far before Earl Watson could ever appreciate his play, but Watson's father did. And he always talked about how Lucius Allen went from Kansas City and started at UCLA, and that's really why that was always in his head. He may someday go there.
Isn't it really interesting how Los Angeles to Kansas and Kansas to Los Angeles, with Roy Williams taking advantage with the Jock Vaughn type players.
A tie-up situation. The arrow belonged to the Devils. Thus their possession with 8:12 to go in the game, leading by 8.
Again, now it's Young trying to handle Williams. Young athletically probably can stop him from driving.
Battier, 3-pointer bouncing off the front of the rim, and there is Zurich.
Duke got exactly what they wanted, the extra pass. Battier with a look, but he can't make it go.
Tough pass, Battier reached in. They were trying to get it to Capono, cutting to the hole.
Capono has been able to play a lot of minutes with 4 fouls.
Almost the whole second half. Under 8 timeout, Duke leads by 8. Here in the second half, Williams has scored 22 of Duke's 26 second half points, including their last 19.
And Jim, when you see how different this game is from a normal Duke game, they average 91.6 points a game, second in the country. Here we're sitting on a 59-point game with 7 minutes to go.
Zurich backing in, and Booth. Oh, they call a travel on Zurich.
Well, he did have happy feet there on that play.
So. Yeah, he shuffle.
He really wasn't squared up.
Duke has led by as many as 12, but the Bruins won't go away, even with 2 starters playing the large part of this second half with 4 fouls. Capono, who actually picked up his 4th in the first half, and Watson. Here's Dunleavy open on the wing, 3-pointer, back to the rim.
That'll be okay.
Yep, Devils, it was touched by the Bruins. Reset the 35 as we approach 7 minutes to play.
Here you see UCLA now trying to protect 2 starters with 4 fouls, Capono and Watson, so they're going to a zone, trying to match up out of it. I really think Duana has, with a little more experience, realize you get a guy like Capono, drive on him.
Williams this time, a rare miss.
Near those long arms of Dunleavy. Duke University take a little air out of this ball. Mike Krzyzewski going to make UCLA come out and play him. Boozer wants that ball down inside. He's getting excellent position with Barnes on his back.
There he is, Battier.
Terrific play by Duke. A great half-court possession. Used a lot of clock and got the shot they wanted.
It breaks the streak of 19 Duke points unanswered by one player, Williams.
Try that little backdoor cut, not there. Dunleavy's got it. Barnes is quick.
And Barnes has to reach in. Capono was unable to really converge, too, with the 4 fouls.
Jim, here's what we saw. Boozer was down inside sealing his man, but look what Battier does to Barnes. And then, of course, with that ability to use the left or the right hand, puts it in.
Second foul on Barnes, 16 foul. That for Battier was his first basket of the second half. He's got 16 for the game. And Dunleavy at the line. He took an early hit beginning of this game, knocked to the floor, and really kind of dazed. And I think you said it right. I think part of it was he was just stunned. Sat out for a while with a pinched nerve, they said, but was only 1 of 6 from the field. And now has made 3 of 10 for the game.
Very important possession for UCLA here. They go back to that 1-4 set. They run it beautifully. Good backdoor cut by Capono. Good job by Williams to recognize it.
Off the glass, Zurich slams it home. Lucky bounce for the Bruins.
That's a well-organized half-court set by UCLA.
Williams quickly gets it over to Duhan, away from the pressure. Blue Devils lob, Boozer. And the Bruins come out, they've got the numbers.
There's where game conditioning for Boozer wasn't the guy to throw that ball to. There's Knight where he wants it.
Rattles out, and a foul going against the Bruins. Called on Zurich, his second.
Boy, that was the perfect shot for UCLA.
It
Knight
really
over
was.
in the corner that he just loves, that left-handed jumper from there, and didn't bury it.
That was a chance to get it down to 6. Sunday on CBS, Kurt Russell and Halle Berry, along with Steven Seagal, star in the network premiere of the action thriller Executive Decision. That's Sunday after 60 Minutes on CBS. Battier at the line. It'll be a 1-and-1.
And Jim, here is Duke University basketball. This year, coming into this game, they had made 620 free throws. Their opponents had shot 619. Duke had a 281 advantage of shots taken from the foul line over their opponents. Considering the style of play that they have, that's incredible.
They shoot a lot of threes.
Yeah,
They crashed the boards too, though.
Yeah, and they not only crashed the boards, you got Jason Williams with a penetration move,
Yes,
puts him on the line a lot as well.
Battier now has another double-double, his 4th game in a row. 17 points, 10 rebounds. Watson over Duhan. Oh, boy, he just waited and waited and hung in the air until he was able to release that one.
And you're talking about Duhan, one of the best on-ball defenders against the dribble around, and Watson has used him about 3 times now with that little fadeaway.
It's really been this half between, well, right in this range, between, say, 6 and 12. And the Bruins with under 5 to play. Can they penetrate even closer? Boozer blocked. Battier, loose ball out to Knight.
Boozer not in game shape, and I noticed running now, he's starting to limp a little bit.
Time for a big 3 for the Bruins side, but stolen away by Williams.
Watson's going to have to be the man. Look at the pull up here. Oh boy, what a decision on Williams' part. Instead of taking it to Watson, he pulls up and takes the jumper.
They call it a 2, foot on the line. 32 now, he's 2 off his career high.
Watson, will he try to put it on the floor and penetrate again?
Boozer knocked Knight down to the court.
Well, Boozer's getting a little tired right now. We're probably going to see James back in this game. Wow, there was a screen, a blind screen set on Boozer. He gets the call against him.
That's the 6th team foul, so UCLA inbounds.
I think, Jim, that foul should have gone the other way. But Zurich wants the ball in the low post.
Barnes, a slasher, has it taken away. Dunleavy defended, and Battier reached in and got it.
Battier is so smart, wanting to control the pace of the game now.
He has helped force 20 Bruin turnovers.
Duke with 3 excellent ball handlers out there, Battier being the release man. Boozer will try to stay away from him.
Knight almost able to get there. 7 on the shot clock. Dunleavy drives, gives it up. Battier and 1. And a chance to take the biggest lead of the night if he makes the free throw.
And Capono could not commit the foul, and Dunleavy knew that. Made a good slashing move in the baseline. Look at Capono. See, he can't commit the foul, and he knows it. Really nice hands by Battier. He's just such a smart player. He keeps his eye on the target. Some guys would have thought that Dunleavy was going to go ahead and shoot that ball, take their eyes off it for the rebound. He locks right in.
There you have it. The Blue Devils have raised the bar now. to their biggest lead of the evening, up 13. Well, we showed you the Midwest bracket earlier. How about the South tomorrow, Billy?
Well, here you have Gonzaga, 3 straight Sweet 16s, big numbers in that particular region. And look at the state of Pennsylvania. They're going to have one winner. Temple, Penn State.
Should have played that game right here in Philadelphia.
John Chaney, a lot of people rooting for that man in terms of all that he's been able to accomplish, but never has been to a Final Four.
Boozer stays on the floor. He's having a very big night as far as minutes, Billy.
20 minutes, which really surprised me. Zurich, nice little turnaround jumper. Boozer caught behind him. 20 minutes, he has 2 points and 6 rebounds. 20 very valuable minutes for a Duke team, not having one of their traditionally high-powered games. And now that clock is going to be the 6th man for Duke, and they're very good at using it.
How do you get back into it if you're UCLA and your season's on the line?
Well, and you have Watson, who's your best defender, with 4 fouls, so he can't go out and be too aggressive. So it's Knight on Williams. Tough matchup.
Dunleavy. Zurich really climbed for that one.
Zurich tired right now, but he's had a good game. Nice move.
Knight challenges and bangs it home, gets it under 10. 2:20 to play.
Dunleavy should have taken that ball over half court. He put himself in a position to be trapped. Here's Watson now on Williams, and Knight wanted to come over to get Watson off of there so he doesn't foul out. Using a lot of time, aren't they?
No hurry, under 2 to play, leading by 9. Boozer, charge.
I don't know about the call.
Billy Knight hurt.
Billy Knight got hit. There is Boozer up in the air to try to make the catch. Knight steps underneath him. They call the charge on Boozer. We'll see the play right here. Here's Boozer. He is in the air. He has got to have the right to come down. Bad call. Defender moved in underneath a man in the air. Call should have been in the other direction.
That's the 4th on Boozer, and Sanders replaces him.
Now, Mike Krzyzewski's got to really love what he got out of the big man tonight. 22 minutes of action when the guy hadn't played a game in 3 weeks. No time to think about 3. Keep going inside to get Zurich.
Knight lost control of it. It looked like a travel. And he just had to throw it in the direction of the basket and reach in on Barnes. CBS Sportsline stat of the game: field goal percentages greatly improved in the second half on each side. And for complete tournament coverage, go to cbs.sportsline.com. That's 4 on Barnes.
Well, hard to believe that these 2 teams, the way they play, Jim, both would have shot under 30% in the first half.
1-1 for Williams.
I'll say something about UCLA, though. Of the teams that made the Sweet 16, they held their opponents to the lowest scores of anybody out here. So you can see that they've been playing hard-nosed defense throughout the NCAA tournament.
It's the first time, in fact, they held Hofstra to 48, Utah State to 50 points. The first time in 19 years the Bruins had back-to-back games where the opponents had 50 or fewer. So this to tie his career high of 34. Williams. Very timely. 31 in the last game against Missouri. 34 here.
Duke doesn't play much zone. See if they drop back in one now. Doesn't look like it.
Barnes also lost control of it. Driving, and Battier hacked by Knight.
I'll tell you right now, this thing's getting a little rough out there. The officials need to call these guys in. Those are some pretty deliberate fouls out there.
That's his 2nd personal foul.
Maryland has already won tonight, defeating Georgetown by 10.
So the ACC not doing quite what the Pac-10 is, but advanced a team to the Final 8, as the Pac-10 did with SC here tonight.
Battier, that's the 10th team foul, so double bonus.
Not unusual to see this Duke team in the double bonus. You know, Jim, they did something that it's really amazing in the storied history of the ACC. Only 3 teams have won 3 straight ACC tournaments. Duke this year doing it. State did it. North Carolina did it. Tough thing to do to be that consistent in a tournament. You got to win all 3 days in a row.
Watson with a three, guns it down. I think it's been, what, 32 years since someone completed that.
Well, State did it in 54, 55, 56, and Carolina did it in 67, 68, 69. Next year, the Pac-10 will have a postseason tournament.
And they'll only have 8 in the competition. They'll leave a couple of teams out of it, and they'll bring them to Los Angeles.
Well, you can imagine this year 5 teams that were very solid. If you're only going to bring 8, that's going to be a competitive 3 days.
I'll tell you one guy who's not in favor of it out there, and that's Mike Montgomery, of Stanford.
Well, normally if you're
he was telling me, he says, we don't like this.
Well, Lute Olson doesn't like it either. Guys that have had a chance to win regular season sometimes are against it.
Barnes fouls out.
Lute, of course, came from the Big Ten before the Big Ten had a postseason tournament.
No, it's a UCLA team that some felt would be in a rather precarious situation playing in that first-round game against Hofstra. They'd had some first-round blues. In the last decade, losses in the first round to Penn State, Tulsa, Princeton, and Detroit Mercy, but they beat Hofstra, beat Utah State convincingly. Look at Jason Williams. What a star performance. But no one there. Duhan over the Duke bench.
How about that play by Watson? That kid is some competitor. And so is that one. Battier with the steal, goes on the floor, calls the timeout, says, hey, Mr. Referee, lift me up. And here's Watson, and he commits a foul, no call. Officials have been very weak the last 5 minutes of this game. They've missed a lot of calls.
Wow. We'll be right back. Final 34 seconds. Did you happen to notice what Krzyzewski's record is when he's taken his team through the East bracket?
Well, I can't remember him losing.
Just last year to Florida.
Well, that's right. You're right. Up at Syracuse.
They never lost before that. Yep. And that's it for Earl Watson.
It's a great kid
What
there.
a wonderful career at UCLA.
Great kid.
Really special kid.
It's a great article in the Charlotte Observer about he and Baron Davis the other day, and Baron really thinks a lot of him. But he is a great kid.
We talked to coaches yesterday a few times during the shoot-arounds about players who stay with it emotionally in this tournament. Teams that have players who really treat it like it's a life or death situation in the NCAA tournament. His name kept coming up.
Well, I don't ever remember seeing him play in a game where he didn't give it all. I'm not talking just about NCAA tournament time in his entire 4-year career. And there's Bailey, and
Bailey also a senior.
Right. Well, now here's another senior going to go sit down for a while, but there's another day.
Yeah, he's got another one. The uniform will be worn again.
Well, you can remember when Chris Carrawell last year lost in that first game they lost in Eastern Regional, when he knew it was all over, and that embrace that he and his coach Mike Krzyzewski had. That's a special moment for people in this tournament. It's only going to be one champion.
Well, the suddenness with which it all ends. You know, you got the hopes up. Knight gets it back and a foul. You think you got something going. You win a couple of games in the East. You travel all the way back home. You're there for basically a day. You take a final. You come back all the way back here with this big mission, but this big dream. You're going to beat mighty Duke. And again, Steve Lavin said,
there's a team that didn't go home that plays Duke next. They spent their time on the subway in New York.
So they never went back.
That's right.
Steve Lavin, though, over there with what he said, is like it's like Linus with his security blanket. I won't know what to do without Earl Watson. It's going to be hard to say goodbye. 13 seconds to go, and then we'll be all set for Duke and USC Saturday in the regional final. The Blue Devils are one game away from going to the Final Four.
On that familiar path, Greensboro, Philly, Minneapolis.
Worked before for a championship, their last championship in '92.